mentality. And you don't have to be bigger than that person. You don't have to pick a fight for that person. All you have to do is you and 2 or 3 other people just go, this is not cool, or listen, we're gonna call somebody, pick this up some other time. Anything that you do that just breaks the pattern even for a moment, that's all it takes, because people get in state. A bully isn't always a bully every moment of their life. You can be somebody who's a bully in another environment, they can be a really cool kid. But when they're in that state of being a bully, it feeds on itself. So all it takes is a little pattern interrupt. And a lot of people are afraid, although they're gonna come attack me. They might threaten you, but you're not really their focus. That's not really what it is. So, by the way, it happens with adults. It happens in a different way. It happens by, rumors and things of that nature. It certainly happens with celebrities. I have a lot of celebrity friends and clients, and I'll be at a party and somebody will say something, in the entertainment business especially, about this person, and I'll just say, you know what? I watch other people around, I see 2 other people are friends not say a word, and I'll step up and say, you know what, that is total BS. You know that's BS. I know this person, they're my friend. What you're saying is just completely made up. There's no truth to whatsoever. Why would you do that? And when you put the burn back in that direction, it's really rapid how things change, because other people look around, What I tell people is don't tolerate behavior. You get what you tolerate. Don't tolerate behavior from other human beings that you personally would not want for yourself. And so even if you're not the one being bullied, don't tolerate it, step up. And we cannot tolerate it by the power of the third side. There's a person attacking, there's a person who's being attacked, and there's the third side. The third side can surround it and change it in 2 seconds. And I say, lead the third side.
We do everything together, and this was one of those things that you have to do together. And that's what's made our marriage work is that we support each other 100% in everything, and we always stand behind each other, and we're best friends.
When we first started out, I was coming to be supportive of him because I considered myself retired, and I thought, okay, well, I'm a positive person. I don't know what I'm going to get out of this. I'll try to find something positive to get out of it.
Did you ever notice how optimistic you are? You're going to make the change you're supposed to make, and you still don't make it? Our optimism serves us except in the area where we're not changing, in which case we need some pessimism to be selectively and intelligently applied. In other words, we got to see, hear, and feel the worst of what our beliefs have created in the past until we can't take it anymore, and we think we can't take it, we got to push harder.
Got his tapes in mid-'80s, NLP tape, and really set a course for me in my business life, and really did well in the insurance business using his principles.
The real version is, it sucked in Houston in the insurance industry. We moved to San Antonio to try to recover. Started from scratch. It was really a lot of pressure and it was depressing. And it didn't hurt our marriage, but it affected us. And when he reached for the Tony tapes and got everything going that direction again, that really, really helped a lot. But we were still in a financial bind. Like, we couldn't afford the tapes. We had to borrow them for a little while until we could actually pay them back. Things were tough, and we didn't tell anybody. We couldn't tell our friends, couldn't tell our kids. We felt like, and we're back with a lot of focus and the stuff we learned from Tony. Here we are.
The story is there for a purpose. Whatever limiting story we have has a positive intent. It's trying to protect us from being hurt or disappointed. How many get that at some level already? Say aye. But what happens is the very thing that tries to protect you, the wall you create to protect you becomes the prison you live in. Because what keeps the bad stuff out keeps you from getting out to your real life.
Spent my life, that was my old story here, by the way, pleasing everybody else. When you're a kid, you got to please your parents to earn love. And there was still something inside me missing that didn't fulfill me. And that's supposed to fulfill you. You're taught that's to fulfill you. You should be fulfilled as a mother and a wife and a business partner. You should feel fulfilled. What is wrong with you? And I didn't feel fulfilled.
Change your belief, change your life. Change your story, change your life. Divorce your story of limitation and marry the truth of your true nature, and the whole game changes, ladies and gentlemen.
Coming here and being set free of those old beliefs and those old lies and that junk And I knew it was in there somewhere, and I didn't know how to unlock it. That's the frustrating part. The huge breakthrough today was the stepping across the line into my new self. I nearly melted into the floor with the energy that went flowing through me. I stood there and cried with the sheer 150% happiness that I love myself. And I've never been able to say that. I absolutely love who I am, and I love me.
I don't know where I've ever spent 17 hours straight dancing and having the best time of my life and never realizing that all the pain that was there still wasn't even, not even felt. I think it's great that you can have that many people that come into a place, 50 countries, 5,600 people. About halfway through the event, you're hugging people you don't even know, and they're coming up to you wanting a hug. So it's not just you giving, it's someone wanting to take too. They're looking for that hug. It's good. I mean, it just goes to show that people are all looking for the same thing no matter where they are in the world.
How many see the difference here? The secret, though, to this only works if, when you get that person, you can truly what?
Convert.
You got to deliver. If you can really deliver, you can make these offers. The very thing we did the other day. We made the offer. We just make it more and more and more compelling because you know you're going to deliver. And when you get that, that's how you stand out from anybody else, and that's how you get the phone ringing.
Well, humbly, I deliver. Delivery is not my problem.
Okay.
It's figuring out what the irresistible offer has to be and how to...
But how do you figure? How does anybody figure that out, by the way? Frank's going to go away, I'll go away, everybody's going to go away. How are you going to find the most irresistible offer? How? Well, you do is test, but the first thing is you just brainstorm and find somebody before you even test anywhere else and say, would this make you call? How many would pick up the phone for a 5 to 10% discount? Raise your hand. One person out of 1,000, out of 900. How many pick up the phone if I can get a 10% discount forever? Just out of curiosity, anytime. See if that does it. How many pick up the phone if you say, listen, I'll evaluate any other diamond you have and I'll beat the price, or I'll send you a gold bracelet for your lady at some stage. Let me see a show of hands. Which, by the way, we just added something. Evaluate any other diamond you're putting out there. So now I've got a trusted expert who, if they don't deliver for me, I get something no matter what. And we just got 90% of the room to raise their hand. All we changed, how much does that cost, by the way, to make that change in his business?
Nothing.
Zero. Changing an offer costs nothing. This is where you make 1,000, 10,000% chance. We're talking about optimizing, right? This optimization is the part to go from leads to people that actually engage with you, right? The equivalent of the appointment or having the meaningful conversation. So all you've got to do is start to say, guys, I can change my business 500%, 1,000%, 30%, 40%. But what I understand is the greatest investment I've got is the X factor of my intelligence, my creativity, my sitting down and brainstorming. You don't have to be the genius to do it. You can go hire somebody like Frank and bring somebody in to do it. Or you can just sit down and go, you know what? I'm going to stop being a goddamn business operator who's running like crazy in my business. I'm going to step out and be the business owner and go, what will produce this result? That was the goal of these 5 days. For 30 years, I've watched people read books and get inspired. Tapes have been an extraordinary tool because people have been able to condition themselves by hearing things again and again. But there's nothing like an event. And I really want to invite you to participate and come. You know, very often people look at an event and they think, well, I'm just going to get positive. And if you've talked to anybody who's been to the Unleash Within Power Then program, you know this is a conditioning event. You know, the only way you're going to get a lasting result is build muscle. And there's no way to do that like immersion. You know, you can go to the ballpark and be there by yourself or with 5,000 people, but if you're there with 50,000 people, it's a different game. And momentum is what this is all about. And that's really what we've been trying to help you have over the last couple of days, to get clear on what you want, to get clear on what's stopping you, to give you some momentum going forward, to figure out how to close the gap between where you are and where you really want to be. And the UPW does that in spades. So it's got a money-back guarantee, so you can't possibly miss out. You can go to half the program. If you're not thrilled, you get your money back. So I've tried to make it so that it's as irresistible as possible, but it's the best thing I've created over these last 30 years. It gives you an opportunity to face your fears, to figure out what it is that really stops you, which we all know is unconscious fear. What are people afraid of today? You know what they're afraid of. They're afraid of the future. They're afraid of the present. They're worried of can they have a better life in the future than they have today? And most people are lowering their expectations and letting the world take them over instead of getting creative and shifting and figuring out what to do. Or they're going in denial. So the very first night of the UPW is fear into power. It's the firewalk experience. But really what it's about is all night we're going to be showing you how to get yourself to follow through, how to get yourself to attack what you're afraid of, how to see what's been stopping you, and then get yourself to move forward in an instant and to train yourself to do that. So it isn't a conversation in your head about what you should do or some knowledge, but a follow through. I mean, how many people do you know that know exactly what they need to do or have a sense of what they have to attack, but they never face it, they never take action, they put it off, they set it aside, and that's really just a habit. And what we do is train you in your body how to make this happen. So when you get in front of that fire and it's 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit and you got to get yourself to storm across that thing and you got to do it in an instant, that shift, let's just say if you're in business, if you're in sales, after walking on fire, cold calling is not a problem, right? If you're having difficulties in your business, you're going to be on a different side. And you're not only euphoric on the other side, but it shifts your core beliefs about what's possible. Because when you get yourself to do something you once thought was difficult or impossible, your brain starts to say, what else is I thought was difficult or impossible that I could do as well? You know, the next day after developing this peak performance kind of state, you're going to get crystal clear on the steps you need to take to close the gap from where you are to where you want to be. You're going to find out what are the beliefs that have been stopping you. You're going to discover exactly what it is you want today in this adjusted environment, if you will. What do you want for your body, your emotions, your relationships, your finances? What do you want for your career? What needs to happen now? And it's a state of such momentum when you've got thousands of people together, and we're all doing this individually, but then working on it collectively as well. We're going to make sure then you learn how to anchor in those changes so you follow through. We're going to show you the strategies that make the difference. Like, you really need three things. You got to know exactly what you want, and it's got to be so compelling, you're excited, and you're going for it every day. But you also have to know the best tools. And I've spent 30 years of my life looking for how do you get this result quicker? How are you going to transform your body so you have enough energy to follow through? If you're going to succeed in this marketplace, you've got to stand out. If you're going to do well in business, if you're going to do well with your family, you've got to have that extra level of energy. And most people's energy right now is nearly depressed. That's what they call a recession or a depression. People's mental states, their emotional states drop through the floor. So we're going to show you what to do physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically. We're going to discover what are the core beliefs that you either developed or you already had that are holding you back. Because beliefs are a feeling of absolute certainty. 80% of success in life is psychology. 20% is mechanics. So if you don't make that shift, you pretty soon, you turn on the television, you turn on, the web, you look at what's all around you, and what you see is constantly being fed what's wrong. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not here for positive thinking, pretending everything is okay, stick your head in the sand, go to your garden and chant, there's no weeds, there's no weeds, there's no weeds. You know that I'm not about that. I'm about intelligence. I'm about seeing it as it is, but not worse than it is. And then seeing it better than it is, so you've got a vision that can inspire you to move forward so you can create a result. That's what leaders do. And then figuring out how to close that gap, how to make what you're picturing a reality. That's what we're going to do in this UPW seminar. And by the way, the UPW is new. Because of the financial environment we've in, I've changed some of the content so that on Saturday night, we've got a wealth building format. And then again on Sunday, after the health portion, we have a bonus section for you on how you can take advantage of this environment, how you can do well financially by utilizing some of the new tools that the web offers. I don't know what you're doing on that weekend, but my invitation to you is, what do you think you could be doing that could create a greater change in your life than this? I doubt much. And again, I don't have to make that claim from hyperbole or exaggeration. I got 30 years of delivering it. Talk to anybody who went to that program. The key phrase they'll always tell you is, it changed my life. Life will never be the same again after this event. So I want to invite you to come.
Great. Sit up in your chair with some energy right now. Sit up in your chair. Make sure the people on either side of you are in a peak state right now. Come on, get them up in a peak state. Show them what a peak state looks like by your example. Come on now. Come on now. Wake it up. Come on. Wake them up. Wake them up. Come on. Oh, yes. All right, but you're going to have to decide what's right for you. So all I'm trying to tell you is, today, think of this as a second opinion. Think of this as the most important subject of your life, even though you may not have made it that way. Think of it as something that isn't a should, but a total what? A must to master, because if you master this, everything else you can dream of is available to you. And if you fail to master this, everything else goes to the wayside. I mean, I meet people all the time in relationships, and they want relationship therapy, and I say, you know what you gotta do? You gotta exercise, you gotta work out, you gotta lose some weight. You guys are just so tired, there couldn't possibly be any passion. When you're exhausted, there is no passion. people say, okay, well, I'm going to really work on a plan, and I'm going to organize things, and I'm going to find the best trainer. And I come back and I'm talking to them a week later, and they're still planning things. This woman's telling me, no, but I'm going to get the best trainer. I'm going to have the very best trainer and organize this. I said, ma'am, with all due respect, you don't need a plan. You need a trainer. You need somebody who gets behind you and just yells, run! Move! You don't need this long plan. You just got to move. We're living in a society where nobody moves anymore. What do we like today? How do people get injured today? They don't get injured smashing into people, playing football and anything else. They get injured typing, right? Picking up a pencil. That's how people get hurt today, because we don't use everything anymore. We live in a box. Think about it. Think about our lives today and how different it is than maybe the way we were formed to be made, to run, to hunt, to create, to procreate, to raise our children, to move, to farm, to do all the things that made us use all of our body. Today, what do? You wake up and you have this box life. You have a box breakfast, right? You get in your box car, you drive to your box office, you load up a box elevator. You don't use the stairs, of course, right? You go to your box office where you type on a box, talk on a box, right? Go into a box room for meetings, right? Sure enough, got a little box you can type on, listen to music on, box, have your box lunch, drive your box home, or get in the train or subway, and another box home, get home to your box, and then turn on the box, type on a box, message on a box, and maybe go get a cylinder to change your state, right? Maybe. And most people's idea of exercise in our society today is fill the tub, pull the plug, and fight the current. That's the world we live in today. And so it's not hard to figure out why we're getting fat and why we're feeling kind of tired and why we're building up acid in our system, consuming foods that have nothing alive in them anymore, where everything is denurtured and everything is chemicalized or radiated. So it can feel overwhelming. But I think if we got back to our common sense and if we were really committed, we could make it all work. And what I'm trying to say to you is really simply this morning. I'm going to take the morning and not talk to you about how to do this. We're going to figure out why to. Because 80% of success in anything is psychology and 20% is mechanics. It's the beliefs you have that are guiding your decisions. Listen, if you make a different decision, will you take different actions? Yes or no? Yes. If you take different actions, will you get different results? Yes or no? Yes. So this day is about some new decisions. Some decisions about what you're going to believe about health and energy, how important it's going to be from you from now on. What's going to be a must for you versus a should for you. Energy is a place that I've more than been, right? And I want to make sure that you have even more. I want to make it so that it's as effortless as possible in the future so you're not burnt out from it, so this becomes a sustainable experience. How do you make it sustainable? Create the base. How do you make it sustainable? Challenge it. Once you got a base, you challenge and grow. How do you do it? Then you got to celebrate and reward yourself for making these great rewards, and that celebration enhances your base. Because you feel better and stronger, and you want to do even more good things. You want to eat better. You want to play better. When you start working out and you start to get into it, you love it. You love it. And then your base gets even stronger, so you can take on a bigger challenge in life. And sure enough, you reward yourself and celebrate some more. And it becomes how the rich get richer, how the happy get happier, how the healthy get healthier, and the poor get poorer, and the depressed get more depressed, and the unhealthy get more unhealthy. It's momentum. Today is that process of momentum. My goal is for you today to have more certainty. Certainty that you have the answers that can guide you, and that there will be challenges in your environment. There are going to be environmental challenges. There are going to be all kinds of things you'll face, but whatever it is, you can handle it. And I'm hoping that as a result of today, you'll not only make a difference in yourself, but you'll own this so much that you won't have to lecture anybody. They'll come to you and go, oh God, you have so much more energy. You look so much better. You lost this. How'd you do it? And you'll both say, let me tell you. And you will be a person who's a force for good that'll pass it on to the people. So my goal today is to plant seeds so that you not only get this, but this spreads to other people. So here's my final message to you, because I've gotten carried away. I thought I was going to send you like a 5-minute message, but as you can see, there's no script here. It's just me going a little crazy with you, but I want to really see you get what you want this year. Don't let this year be like last. And if last year was great, still don't let it be that way. Raise the standard. If your life is perfect and extraordinary, you darn well know you're not going to be happy unless you keep making it better. That's what makes us feel alive. It's not what we get that make us happy. It's who we become and what we're able to give because we become more. That sense of contribution is what creates the deepest meaning. So here's my assignment for you, if you want one.
if you want to go from conversation to some action, here's a simple thing to do. What's an area of your life right now that you really want to improve? What's an area that's important to improve? If your body's great, how about your career? If career's great, how about your relationships? Intimate one especially, or your kids, or your relationship with your creator, your spiritual side of your life. Or is it your finances? Figure an area that really matters. Decide on that area. Number one, write down what your life is like in that area right now as specifically as possible. So you might say, well, I'm 13.5 pounds overweight, whatever the weight is, whatever the situation is, or my body fat's like this, or I wake up exhausted in the morning, and you write the truth of where you are right now. So you're real clear. Or I'm not in a relationship. I say I want a relationship, but I'm not in one, and I don't seem to find them. All the good ones seem to be gone is my belief. And I really do want one, but I don't have it. Whatever your definition. Or I'm in a relationship, and God, I wish I wasn't in a relationship. I'm planning my escape. Wherever you are. Or I have a wonderful relationship. We love each other, but there just isn't enough passion. Just write the truth of where you are. The area you want to change, but write how it is. And then the second step is, this is where you got to be really honest with yourself. What are the rituals that have put me there? Because whatever results you're getting, even if you don't like the results, there's some rituals that are keeping you in that place. There's some rituals of what you eat or don't eat, how you move or don't move, how you sleep or don't sleep. There's some rituals in the lack of variety or spice or energy or focus in an area. There's something you're doing, and it's usually not one thing, it's a bunch of little things that you kind of do consistently whenever you think about getting in a relationship, whenever you think about working out, whenever you think about money. You get yourself in a state of overwhelm. You start thinking about all the things you can't control. Just write down all the rituals you have, and then here's the third step. What do you want? What's your vision? And be really specific. I want to be my fighting weight. I want to be the strongest I've ever felt. I'm going to turn whatever it is, be specific. And then, last step, number 4, what are the rituals that'll get you there? What would you need to do differently each morning if you're going to be that kind of energy, that kind of strength? How often would you work out? What days would you work out? What time? A ritual is something you do consistently, usually at a specific time, so it becomes automatic. Let me tell you something. Willpower doesn't last, but rituals can last a lifetime. I bet you have some rituals in your life right now you've been doing for years, even though some of them don't serve you. I'm just saying, wake yourself up. If you want a new year and a new life, you don't need to start on January 1st. Start today. Start with this little video. And just begin to see what happens and see how easy it is to just do a few little rituals. Don't do them all, just do 2 or 3 new things. And you know what happens? You'll get momentum. Because once you discipline yourself in one area of your life, you feel yourself doing it in other areas as well. And I always say something that my original teacher taught me. I always remind people, there's always 2 pains in life. There's the pain of discipline, or there's the pain of regret. And discipline weighs ounces, as my friend Jim Rohn taught me. Regret weighs tons. You don't want to have regret. So right now, what do you want to change? What's it really like? What are the rituals that got you there? That'll take a little homework. If you're not sure, ask the people around you. They'll tell you what your rituals are. What do I really want in depth? What are the rituals that'll get me there? And then get yourself to start a few of those actions and lock them in place. Hey guys, it's Tony Robbins. Listen, I've got a video here for you today that I think you'll really enjoy. I am, for the last, 9 months or so, since the economy took its giant collapse all over the world in different areas financially, I've been meeting people that are trying to figure out what to do financially. And I've brought so many people in business who are trying to figure out what to do. Their customers are responding in a different way. They're hanging on to their money, and they're concerned. And so I thought, the traditional approaches to business are not making a difference. What I'm best at is modeling. I've always, when I wanted to figure something out, I go to people that are the best in that area and figure out what they're doing and teach myself how to do that, and then teach others to do the same once I've proven it's worked with myself. So I have all these tapes now that are from the time when I originally went through, and I'd go to sleep and I had these sleep tapes that conditioned my mind to believe that I could succeed even when I was sleeping, or to build energy in my body. And anybody who wants to succeed has got to know it doesn't just happen. You can buy a product, but you also, with that product, have got to condition yourself. You got to make it a must, and you got to get a ritual. And if you do it, whatever you used to dream about you thought was so huge, you'll just live it. You'll live it like you lived this yesterday, like we're all living the life that we envisioned. Because we had to, and because we played this game with our head. We got the belief to be real by seeing it enough times and feeling it enough times till our brain believed it, and then it made it happen.
Salespeople are not trained, they're found. The best salespeople are not trained, they're found and then trained. If someone does not have the nature of sales and it's not in the core of who they are, you can have them talk to 1,000 people and they're still not going to produce maximum results. So if you have, for example, If you have someone who's an introvert, can they be successful in selling? Can they be? Yes or no? Yes, they can. Will they be long-term? No way in a million years. They can push themselves to get out of their comfort zone, but people return to their nature. It won't happen. Can you take someone who is, for example, let's say, extroverted, constantly communicating and talking, and can they be successful as an accountant? Yes or no? Can they be? Yes, they can. Will they be? No effing way. Not long term, because the job won't reinforce their nature. So here's what I've done in my organizations, and my former partner, a man named Chet Holmes, who passed away a couple of years ago, is the one who taught me this. We changed together probably 6 of our companies, grew our businesses 25, some of them 100%, with only one change. Here's our change. How many of you have salespeople? Raise your hand. How many got salespeople? Okay, if you don't have salespeople, it's the first thing. Take the back page of your action list and go, I'm going to get them. Because if you don't have sales teams, you're missing one of the pillars of marketing and sales that's critical. And today, you can hire salespeople and have someone else run them. They can live anywhere in the world. They can work on the web. You're crazy if you don't have that. However, if you got salespeople, the quality of your salespeople is everything. And the best way to get quality is to screen like crazy for 2 core elements. And here's the core elements. I can tell you as a minimum. I'm giving you the simple answer. I'm going to give you a quality, deeper answer if you want it. I'm going to give you a gift if you want to take advantage of it. Here's the first one. You need somebody who can deal with rejection, right? That's obvious. If they can't deal with rejection, it's not going to work. So you need someone who has a certain amount of ego strength. But you also need somebody who's warm enough that their ego doesn't get in the way of the personal relationship, so they don't offend people. You need a certain quality of warmth and a certain quality of persistence that no matter what somebody says, they keep on coming. It doesn't hurt them, right? They have to keep coming. We want to make sure we work on both. We want to create a system that allows you to succeed in both areas, life and your enterprise. By the way, which one would you say is more valuable? Which one? That's not how most people live the game. Most people make it the enterprise. And as they make it the enterprise, they wake up and they have a tremendous amount of economic success if they're successful. And what's ironic is what makes you successful may not make you fulfilled. And so there's a big pull in our culture to go for what's most successful, what will reward you culturally with respect or acknowledgement or stars on your chart or economic rewards, thinking that will give us freedom. But how many of you have been very successful in business and not been free, i.e. your business, as it got more successful, demanded even more from you? How many have had this experience? Say aye. So what I want to really make sure that comes out of this is an evaluation of what your real gifts are that are going to fulfill you. Because many of you are living a script around your life that involves having an enterprise when really that may not be your true nature. That's not to say you can't do it. It just means you can do it and you'll be stressed out of your life, stressed out of your mind. And so one of the things we want to find out is how much of that is natural as a problem, how much of that is maybe unnatural. Unnatural meaning you're having problems right now that you shouldn't be having at this stage of development. Think about it. If a child is brand new and they have a problem with controlling their bladder, that's a natural problem, isn't it? But if you're 50 and you have this problem, you got a challenge. If a brand new business has a cash flow challenge, it's a problem, but it's a natural problem. If it's a business that's been around 5 or 10 years and it's got a cash flow problem, you got a real abnormal problem. Maybe you got a problem that's even life-threatening to the business. How many follow what I'm talking about here? Sometimes those problems have to do with the fact that you don't understand the stage of development you're in. The most important element is for you to be able to do this, to be able to establish, most importantly, where you really are in your life today. Where are you? And where do you really want to go? What's going to create this extraordinary life? And to look at it brand new. Because some of you right now, if you continue the direction you're going, are going to be successful and unfulfilled, unhappy, and stressed. Because once we get, into a dream, then that dream starts to take on a life of its own. It gives us juice, it gives us energy. But how many of you ever got the dream, achieved your goal, and then thought, is this all there is? How many of you have this experience? Say aye. That's more painful than not even achieving it. Because now you've done everything, you've worked it out, and you're successful, and you're not happy. So for some of you, you're going to need to take a look at that. Michael Gerber, the guy that wrote the E-Myth, talks about why so many businesses, young businesses fail. And one of the things he says is most people are not really entrepreneurs, but they think that's what they should be. They think that's the sexy thing. That's the most attractive thing. That's the best answer. And what I say to you is you got to separate the vehicle from the outcome. What is it that's going to truly fulfill you? What is it that's going to give you that extraordinary life? What's going to make things magnificent on your terms, not somebody else's terms, not your father, your mother, your background? What is that really? Separate the vehicle, because there's many ways to get to that vehicle. I was here in town just the other day, and I met a gentleman over here, Steve Wynn's a good friend of mine, who started, who basically built most of Las Vegas. And he built just recently, the Wynn Casino, not a few years back, $2.7 billion hotel. The most expensive individual building ever individually financed. Give you an idea, the first estimates on the rebuilding of the World Trade Centers were 1.7 billion, 2.6 billion for a hotel, right? This man has the ability to take large risks, and he has the ability to really succeed in a major way. But I bring that up because I was in town, and for our new home, we have these hot springs, we're getting some really large crystals, and there's a guy in town who has this crystal shop, right? But you got to make an appointment to see the guy. And it's unbelievable. So I get to know him and talk to him and find out he's great friends with Steve. He's been skiing with Steve for 20 years. This guy used to have this business. He sold the business, didn't actually make that much money, but he was tired of the stress of the business. And he said, I'm just going to do what I love. And what I love to do is ski every day. So what he did was he started this little crystal business, made plenty of money, in this little business, has set aside some money from his previous business, and he gets up every day and skis, has a blast, and he has this unbelievable lifestyle. Because, he's Steve Wynn's guest everywhere. He flies on a Gulfstream, doesn't have to pay for it. Right? Doesn't pay the insurance, doesn't have to pay for the fuel, doesn't have to worry about maintenance, managing it, or anything. And he's telling me about all these things he does in his life. And he has a billion-dollar lifestyle, billionaire's lifestyle. But he's structured his life in a way that's fulfilling, where he has time for his grandkids, where he has time for his wife, where he has time for his passions. But he just does it in a different way. He had this big dream, he said, of making this gigantic business, and all it did was stress him out. Now, I'm not saying that's the answer for you, but I'm saying sometimes you got to reevaluate what's going to really make you fulfilled.